Detective James Wilson stood before the Egyptian Museum's entrance, studying the strange pattern of crosses painted in red on the massive stone pillars. It was 3 a.m., and the third break in this month had just been reported. "Same pattern as before, Detective," Officer Sarah Chen said, shining her flashlight on the crosses. "Nothing stolen, just these Egyptian Ankh symbols painted everywhere." Wilson nodded, his eyes scanning the scene. The security cameras had been disabled again, just like the previous times. The thief knew the museum's systems well. Inside, the museum was silent, except for their footsteps echoing off the marble floors. Display cases containing priceless artifacts remained untouched. In the Egyptian wing, more red crosses marked the walls, leading to the mummy exhibition. "The curator, Dr. Ahmed, should be here soon," Chen reported. "He's quite upset about these incidents." As if on cue, they heard hurried footsteps. Dr. Ahmed, a short man with round glasses, rushed toward them. "Detective, this must stop. These symbols are sacred. To use them like this is disrespectful." Wilson studied Dr. Ahmed's face carefully. "Tell me about your new employees in the past 6 months. Just 2 Maria Santos, our restoration expert, and Tom Blake, security guard. Both highly qualified." Wilson walked to the mummy display, where the crosses ended. Something caught his eye, a tiny piece of red chalk, partially hidden under a display case. He picked it up with gloved hands. "Dr. Ahmed, where do you keep the restoration supplies?" "In the basement workshop. Only restoration staff have access." Wilson and Chen headed to the basement. The workshop was neat, tools arranged perfectly. Too perfectly. Wilson opened drawers until he found what he was looking for: red chalk, identical to the piece from upstairs. "Check the employment records for Maria Santos," Wilson told Chen. "I have a hunch." The next morning, Wilson gathered everyone in the museum's main hall. Dr. Ahmed, Tom Blake, and Maria Santos stood nervously. "These break-ins puzzled us because nothing was stolen," Wilson began. "The thief knew the security systems and had access to restoration materials. But the biggest clue was what they did painting Egyptian crosses, or Ankh symbols, everywhere." He turned to Maria Santos. "Or should I say Dr. Maria Ramirez. Your real name came up when we checked your background. You were fired from the Cairo Museum 3 years ago for trying to steal artifacts. You blamed the museum for not crediting your research about ancient Egyptian symbols." Maria's face paled. "How did you? The Ankh symbols were your signature, your way of protesting. You used restoration chalk because you knew it wouldn't damage the surfaces. You wanted to embarrass the museum, not harm the artifacts you love." Maria's shoulders slumped. "They stole my research. Years of work about the sacred meaning of the Ankh symbol. I just wanted them to notice." As Chen led Maria away, Wilson stared at the red crosses on the walls. Sometimes the smallest clues, like a piece of chalk, revealed the biggest stories. Officer Chen smirked. "How did you know to check the restoration supplies?" "The crosses were drawn with something that wouldn't damage the stone. Only someone who worked with artifacts would be that careful. Our vandal respected history, even while breaking the law." Dr. Ahmed sighed with relief. "Thank you, Detective. The symbols can be safely removed now." Wilson nodded, but his mind was already on his next case. In his experience, every mystery, like the ancient Ankh symbol itself, held the key to its own solution. You just had to know where to look.